Welcome to today's episode. We're excited to have Woody Giessmann. He's the author of A Life of Recovery, Breaking the Chains of Addiction. Woody has a background in music. He's been the drummer for the rock band, the Duel Fuegos. After recovering from his personal struggles with substance abuse, he's now an addiction specialist and interventionist who shares his journey from chaos to healing. For those of you who are just joining the podcast, we are IQ Consulting, and we specialize in helping any business scale their revenue over 12 months. If you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, make sure to stick around. And if you're interested in a free consultation, just drop the word growth into the DM. Woody, today we're going to explore your journey to recovery, where you are today, where you want to go, and what's blocking you. Sound good?
That sounds perfect. And thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure to have the conversation around substance use and mental health issues.
Yes, thank you. So the first pillar that we're going to address is your background and your journey on how you decided to become a therapist.
That's a good place to start. I was in Los Angeles. I was a Warner Brothers recording artist with the Del Fuegos, and I toured with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers and the Kinks and ZZ Top and In Excess, and I played with Bruce Springsteen and performed with James Brown. As a father, I always remind my sons, hey, I used to be cool.
You still are.
But I moved away from Los Angeles, back to Boston, and returned to school at the advice of a friend of mine in recovery. She was a nurse, and she said, if you're going to maintain your sobriety, and by the way, I just celebrated 35 years of sobriety. But at year one of my sobriety, she said, you need to learn how to give this away. You need to give away what you've received, the gifts of your sobriety.
That's wonderful. What amazing advice, right? And 30 years later.
Right.
Yeah, that's
And I'm
amazing.
still living vicariously through my litter mate, someone I got sober with. May she rest in peace. But, a terrific person. Um, uh, and I have very fond memories of the gentle direction that she gave me.
And I guess that was probably the pivotal moment you needed to become a therapist, right?
Yes.
And you set up this program called the Right Turn program. Did you want to touch on that?
Well, sure. I did work at a program called Hope House, which was funded by the Department of Public Health in Massachusetts. From there, I went to work at Cambridge City Hospital under my mentor, Dr. Mark Albanese. He wrote the book of Understanding Addiction as Self-Medication, which was life-changing for me. And around that time, I went back to school at UMass Boston. Um, uh, and graduated with my undergrad degree. And I was advised by another person in my life, Marianne Frangules, who's very active in the recovery community, that I needed to continue to go on with my education. So I attended Suffolk University in Massachusetts for master's level education. And around that time, began working for the Department of Mental Health, and then was approached by Dr. Ann Alonso, may she rest in peace. She was the head of the advancement of psychotherapy at Mass General Hospital, and she had a tremendous impact on my life by writing a check and saying, I know who you are. I know what you've done. Your reputation is good around New England. I want you to open up your own program.
That's wonderful.
And with that in mind, as a musician, as a painter, as a creative person, I wanted to include experiential therapies of music and arts and, to stimulate the brain in a healthy way. Of course, along with evidence-based approaches like DBT and CBT.
What made you decide to leave the Right Turn organization to start your own private practice?
Well, it's interesting. Right Turn was a very comprehensive outpatient model. I went into the hospital here in New England to undergo a brain procedure where I had an aneurysm and had to take time away from my clients. Right Turn did not survive without me, but I took all of the gifts and lessons learned from being the CEO and founder of a 501(c)(3) charitable nonprofit and to move forward.
Mhm, mhm. And in this current state of operations, what do you think is your biggest bottleneck right now?
Well, my schedule is very full with clients and interventions. The biggest struggle is to navigate and assist a client in finding the type of help that they need, that is going to best suit them. Navigating the healthcare system, insurance, the systemic issues of which hospitals do what type of work. Governor Charlie Baker of Massachusetts appointed me to the board of registry in medicine to
Mm,
work with physicians around behavioral health, addiction, and mental health issues. Boston has amazing institute, Mass General Hospital, Boston Medical Center, etc. But I also fly around the United States and visit other programs. The biggest challenge is using my knowledge of what treatment is available and trying to match that to the individual coming to me for help.
in the current landscape of addiction recovery, have you found a strategy or methodology that is the most effective for your program? Excuse me.
That's a really good question, and thank you because, 20 plus years ago when I established Right Turn, I created a very comprehensive model that would include staff of psychiatry, nurse practitioners, psychotherapists, addiction specialists, the experiential creative therapies. And now I find that a lot of programs who looked at me with concern are now mirroring or mimicking that model,
Mm,
that the substance use is quite possibly a symptom of the greater underlying issue, and that we need to really look at this as a dual diagnosis issue.
gotcha. Yeah. So, in the complex environment that the healthcare industry is, how are you thinking about scaling or adapting your strategy in order to serve more of the population?
My goal is to raise the awareness for treatment, and as I did in my book and my musical production, make this a conversation
Mhm, mhm.
that it wasn't that long ago that people didn't talk about cancer, call it the C word. And I want to remove the stigma and look at the policies and procedures around treatment for individuals.
Speaking of raising awareness, your biggest project right now is rock bottom, right?
Yes, and rock bottom is a concept that I came up with. It's kind of a Shakespearean theme. It's a love story. It's a tragedy. And it's a comedy that I've been working on with Simon Kirk, the drummer, the founding member of Bad Company, who is just inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And he's a dear friend of mine who is in long term recovery and such a talented man. And also, a Boston legendary comedian by the name of Tony V. I was at the clinic at Right Turn and I was speaking to a young man and I said, "Do you think you're done? Do you think you're ready to get well? Because I think that you have hit rock bottom."
Mm,
And after that conversation, I ran home and I sat at my piano and I wrote this song, Rock Bottom. And I called Simon and I called Tony and I said, "I think we have a really wonderful concept here that no one has really ever done before. We've seen love stories, but we've never put together substance use, addiction, mental health in the form of a live musical that's going to razzle and dazzle everyone to come and see this." I know personally, as someone in long term recovery, that there are over 22 million people in recovery who I believe is the audience, a portion of the audience that we want to reach. I recently spoke at an event and I asked people to raise their hands. How many people have been affected by substance use and or mental health on some level? And every person in the audience raised their hand. It's kind of a, um, a very large conversation, and I just want to remove the stigma so that we can have open conversations. Just because someone has an addiction doesn't make them a bad person. It means that they're a sick person who can get well, and the underlying message of rock bottom is recovery works.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you planning to advertise rock bottom?
The first phase is to develop this locally here in Boston.
Mhm,
Interesting 'cause, Sting, the singer for The Police, had
mhm,
sent us, some very practical advice saying, "Please take your time with this, develop it locally, and then let it broaden." And Rock Bottom Theatrical Productions is a 501(c)(3) charitable nonprofit.
mhm,
And we have an amazing team, including a PR person, including a nonprofit consultant, and legal board members responsible for the success of this project.
mm,
So we will have a massive amount of PR going
mhm.
out.
That's great.
I would like to think along with my book that I'll be doing some much needed press.
Mm,
PR person
mhm.
said, "Would you go on national TV to talk about this?" And absolutely. I mean, I'm a humble guy, but I'm very passionate about the subject here.
No, that's great. And as far as technology goes behind the scene, what have you implemented to make your life easier? Lately, the buzzword is AI, right? Have you implemented anything with AI so that some of the legwork, some of the heavy lifting is done for you in the background?
Well, there's a human touch here that is
Mhm,
necessary. AI
mhm,
may, on some level, be a efficient and practical solution to some things.
mhm,
When you get off into technology, you start to think in terms of social media. Let me quote Pablo Picasso here. The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away. And and as a painter, that kind of mantra has stuck with me throughout my life, not only as an artist, but a person in recovery and a clinician. I don't want to lose that human touch.
mhm,
And can AI emulate that human touch? It can assist in on a practical level in assisting with documentation, for
mhm.
example.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
wanna
talking
lose that.
about your face-to-face sessions with your clients. I'm just talking about whatever AI can do in the background for you, like booking your meetings, sending, your clients reminders. So you're not wasting your time with these little things that could take up time that's not necessary, right?
Correct. You're absolutely right. There's technology that we have now that I didn't grow up with,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been put in a position to welcome this technology to assist in practical ways.
Mm-hmm.
I have to confess that I sometimes call on AI to assist with my documentation, but I find that it's greater than 90% effective, but I still feel it's not perfected at this point, and I have to review everything that AI presents to me.
Absolutely. There's always going to be that, I guess, the human intelligence factor, hopefully, right? None of your clients would want to spill the guts out to a robot.
As much as I feel that I was a pioneer of medication-assisted treatment 20 plus years
Hmm.
ago.
Hmm.
We're at a very interesting time, and we are, including yourself, pioneers of AI technology, and we're
Hmm.
trying to, in a responsible way, program AI to assist us, not harm anyone. I am here to help people. I am not going to hurt anyone. I think that people have done a pretty darn good job of hurting themselves.
When I reached out to you, it was all AI. So AI found you. It actually sent you the first email. It looked at my calendar, selected 3 days, said which ones look the best for you. And once you responded, then it went ahead and booked that meeting, then sent you a link for the podcast. So that type of work, that's what I'm talking about. That's not, any interfacing with a live session, but doing a lot of the heavy lifting in the background for you. So you can sleep, right? It's not like you have to do all the manual work yourself.
Yeah, there are other things that keep me awake at night,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, I would say. Then, Woody, let's just wrap this up and talk about Any peer-to-peer advice that you would want to share with others?
So interesting. I'm a big believer in peer to peer support, not only amongst my clients, in that they have that connection. As we always say, the opposite of addiction is connection,
Mhm,
but also, and with the help of AI, my colleagues and I are able to stay connected in an effective way, you know.
mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I responded to your question well.
No, this is great. I mean, connection, right? That's the key.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. Great discussion today. Thank you for walking us through your journey. It's an amazing one, really. Appreciate that you're not serving your clients with your passion and your creativity. I wish you the best with your rock bottom project and with your second book. Next week, I'll be sending you your video and maybe getting in touch with, some solutions that you could implement if you'd be interested.
Thank you. I appreciate that.